Hey everyone, Kate Byers, founder of the Goodwill Institute and creator of Corporate Women Unleashed. Today for March Madness, we're kicking off a series called Myth Busters. So we're going to talk about all the myths and the beliefs and the things that we have come to believe is true about our work that actually creates burnout. So today's myth busting is on proving yourself. So how many of you have the belief that in order to have your role, start a new job, to succeed in your business environment, your corporate environment, whatever environment you work in, that you have to prove yourself? Everybody raise your hand. Put an A in the comments below, since I can't see you raise your hand. Put an A in the comments. So you have to prove yourself, right? Okay, so that is a myth. That is not true. That is not true. Really, Kate? Yeah, really. So one of the things, especially as you're gaining experience in your career, you're 5 years out, 10 years out, 15 years out, 20 years out in your career, if you are proving yourself, believe it or not, it's working against you. Okay. And women do this. Now, why? First, let's talk about why it works against you. Someone who's proving themselves, what are they doing? Proving. I'm trying. I don't really believe I'm valuable, or I don't think you think I'm valuable, so I better prove it to you. Does that sound like someone that you want on your team? Does that sound like someone that you want to compensate at a higher level? Does that sound like someone who's influential? No, it sounds like someone who doesn't believe in themselves. It sounds like someone who's unsure of themselves. It sounds like someone who doesn't know how to really encapsulate their true value and bring it forward into the workplace, right? Like, think about it. You know, someone who's proving themselves, they're trying. When you're proven, you don't have to try, you just show up. So who do you want on your team? The person who's trying and trying and trying and not getting there, or the person who just shows up and does the job? Okay, so proving yourself is just some hackneyed trite phrase that we just need to drop. But where it comes from is what? Way back when, through decades and decades and decades of our culture, women had to prove that they could be like a man in the workplace, whether it was back in the Industrial Revolution, where we could prove that we could work in factories and we weren't too stupid and too fragile and all these other cultural things, right? Or if you bring it forward, you know, into the 70s, that we were more than just sexual creatures. We actually had brains, and sure, we'll wear the stupid pantyhose if you guys can't get past the fact of naked legs, but my God, can you just listen to what I have to say? Hello, right? So there's this whole sort of cultural meme of like, women aren't smart enough, women weren't talented enough, women were too weak, women were too fragile, women are too emotional. That is still embedded in us because it's still a part of our culture. Now, it doesn't come forward into our culture of little girls as much as it did, let's just say, when I was growing up, or the generation before me. But I remember having to chew glass to get through the ceiling. Like, I remember feeling like I got to show up and show everybody how smart I am, because if not, it's assumed that I'm a dummy. It's assumed that I'm not good enough, right? Men don't have that issue. Men don't walk in the room and people go, well, let's just see what this guy's made of. It's just like, oh, dude, I have this thing I need you to do. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's just assumed that they're capable. So what's happened is, even though we have moved on evolutionarily in our society, culturally, where women are now accepted for the most part in the workplace, like people get that you're capable of working and you're intelligent, our patterns of how we work are still back in these darker ages, these old traditional ways. Now, what happens if you work in a male-dominated company? Because a lot of our clients work in male-dominated environments. That's okay. You just do your job. You're still valuable. Most dudes are not sitting around going, let's just see what the girl has. They're really not. They're more like, oh, how do I behave with the girl? I don't know how to act. Oh gosh, we're supposed to have diversity. Like, they're worried about themselves. They're more nervous about how to behave around you than judging you for being a woman and asking you to prove yourself. Like 99.9% of people, they just want to get the work done and go home and like do whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? People really aren't sitting around going, let me see if I can judge her. It's just not happening, just not. But women, we have these fears of, I got to prove myself. And I think it's really remarkable. Like, I remember once I talked with a woman and she was like, yeah, I took a job a couple of years ago where I moved myself from, I can't remember, let's just say some big city, Dallas to New York, moved my entire family. And what this company in New York had said is, you come out here and we're going to give you the senior position as soon as this woman retires. And she'll be retiring in a year or two. So this woman's like, great. She comes out there and she's like, yeah, I went out there and I was going to prove myself. And I'm like, why are you going to prove yourself? They told you they were going to give you the position when that woman retired. So haven't you already proved yourself? Like you already have. You have proven yourself when they gave you the job, right? And so then she was like proving herself. But because that was in her mind, guess what she was doing? Proving herself, proving herself. And this senior woman who was supposedly going to retire was just dumping crap on her like rain. It was horrible. This woman was not able to have time with her kids. She was grouchy and horrible when she got home. She was exhausted and overweight. Like she just felt miserable in her life. And she's like, and guess what? I just found out that woman's not retiring. She's going to push her retirement out for another year. I can't take this, but I'm stuck. I moved my entire family away from everything we knew to come out here and take this job. I have to make it work. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I agree with that, but I get it. You know what I mean? She was in a really tough situation. But what happened is her pattern being of, I got to prove myself. I got to prove myself. I got to prove myself was like the perfect storm. Like, why would you ever retire? You retire because you're tired. You want to go do something else, right? But then here comes this younger woman who's like, give me all the stuff. I'll prove myself. She's doing all your work for you. Well, now why do you want to retire? Because now your job just got really easy. You got someone else doing all the work for you who's proving herself. And you can just kind of like come in, have a few donuts and go home at the end of the day. Why walk away from your paycheck? And so unwittingly, what this beautiful woman had done is because she thought, I got to prove myself, she set up this perfect storm of burnout, of misery, of sacrifice. And then the goal of getting the senior position was evading her because she made it so easy for the other woman just to hang out. Like, and again, it's like, it sounds horrible. Like, how dare that senior woman not like follow through on what she said she was going to do? She's a human. She's getting her needs met. She's not evil. She's like, I don't know. Well, I don't think she's consciously going, ha, 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 let me screw this girl over. Like people don't think that way, right? But it's patterns of behavior. It's like, oh my God, this has gotten so much easier. Maybe I shouldn't retire. I mean, now that Sally Sue is here, this is really fun. Do you see what I'm saying? And so Sally Sue unwittingly created a situation where, retirement Reba or whatever no longer felt the pressure to retire. Oh my God. Like that's a perfect example of where women are killing themselves in their job. And then it's like, oh my God, this company doesn't understand me. I have to go work somewhere else, or I just have to step back and the senior level ranks are too hard. No, they're not. They're really not. We're making it way too hard, girls. We're making it way too hard. So stop proving yourself. When you get the job, you have the job. What they're saying is, hey, you have all the character strengths, all the experience, all the whatever we think we need. We love what we're seeing from you. Here's the offer. And you're like, great, thanks for the offer. I'm now going to show up as me. And I'm going to be me. And I'm going to do the things that me does. And that's the trade-off. The trade is, money and job for me and all my beautiful, expertise and character strengths. That's it. I don't got to prove anything. Company's not proving anything to me, right? Like what's the company proving to you? They've offered you a building, they've offered you a paycheck, they've offered you some benefits, they've offered you a coffee bar. I don't know. Like, are they going to continue to prove stuff to you? No, there's no proving. We've already created an agreement. We shook hands and we accepted the job. The trade has been made, right? So you just show up and you get the job done and you do the things that need to happen to be the expert that you are. That's it. Now, another mistake that many, many, many women make, oh, this just kills me, is you get this wonderful offer from your company, from your leadership that says, well, we really want to promote you, Sally, but you're not as good at, you don't have a lot of management experience, or you don't have this sort of, niche experience or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and give you about a year and see how you do. OMG, do not accept that offer ever. I can't tell you how many women we've worked with who are like, well, I took this job a year ago. Well, I took this job 6 months ago. And they said that if I did a good job, they were going to promote me. Or they said, if I got this mess cleaned up, they'd give me the money that my predecessor had. Or they said, So once you clean up the mess and once you solve it, there's now no reason for them, I hate to say it, to pay you the money or give you the title. And I cannot tell you, women do this all the time, and months and months and years and years and years go by until finally what, guys? You're resentful, you're burned out, you crash and burn, and you walk away. And then you think, you either feel miserable about yourself, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? Or you think, this dang company, I can't believe it, they just screwed me over. And it's like, no, this is all just human behavior. It's knowing how to influence and say, wow, thank you so much that you would trust me with this, whatever, higher level responsibility. However, with higher level responsibility becomes higher level energy and contribution. And I do need something that is going to then allow me to do this, whether that's compensation or whether that's a title. I'm either going to need compensation or title to help me get this job done, because without it, I won't have the leverage, and or be able to provide the comfort and additional resources I need to get my life taken care of so I can focus on solving this problem for you. Does that make sense? That's what we're doing. So we don't ever kind of like, well, let me just tiptoe in. I'm so glad I got a place at the table. Nope. We're not proving ourselves. And if that's what they offer you, great. That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry. This may not be a good fit then. Because once you're in, you are in. And I've made this mistake. And I had a male predecessor tell me once, Kate, whatever you negotiate right now on the table, that will be your compensation, because this company does not give increases. So be sure that you are negotiating tough now, because you will never get another benefit. And I'm like, oh, but I don't want to really, rock the boat. I just want to kind of get the job. I mean, it is a good fit for me. And so I lowballed, and guess what? For the next 7 years, I had the same compensation. There was not one increase, not one bonus, nothing. Guess who told me that? A dude, and I didn't listen. Can't do that, ladies. So we negotiate when there is pressure. When someone has a need and it's going unmet, that's when we're negotiating. We're not like, let me just show them I can do a good job and hopefully they'll pay me some more money because they'll see how good I am. Pat, pat, pat. Myth, stop it. It's not going to work, right? Now, you need to know how to do this, right? Like you can't just like be a bull in a china shop and walk in and be like, I'm great and I'm this and you better do this, because who wants to, that's not very influential. You know what I mean? You need to be somewhat skilled in that conversation and really think that through, how that works. So, again, I think in as women, that's even more imperative, because we've got that, that double-edged sword. It's like, don't be too nice, but don't be too aggressive, and don't be too this, and don't be too this. Like, don't be too. And at the end of the day, just be authentic, right? And just, does this make sense for you in your life? You don't have to keep proving yourself. So we're recreating and we're making these environments for ourselves, ladies, that are 10 times harder than I need to be, right? Women are working 10 times harder than necessary. And if you're driven and ambitious, take that to like the exponential level, because as driven, ambitious women, we like to work. Like, it's fun. It's juicy. It's great. It's creative. And we love the rewards, and we love the chase, and we love the adrenaline rush and all of that. And then you compound that with this whole, you got to be, you got to prove yourself and don't rock the boat and just do the work. And then, the rewards will come. Can't do that. That's why so many women burn out. That's why so many women don't go up higher, because the way you got to where you are, while it worked, it was struggle and it was suffering and it was hell. So why would you continue to go up higher in your career? Sure, there's more financial rewards. Sure, there's juicier projects. Sure, there's more influence and impact. But if you continue to do it the way you're doing it, there's no way, right? Like, you're just going to topple yourself. But there's so much more you could be doing to make it fun and enjoyable and easy. You just have to get there, right? So that's where you want to keep investing in yourself and your career, because really, when you get to the upper echelons of your career, or the more senior ranks, it's not about what you're doing, it's who you are. And so if you're not investing in who you are, like, I didn't get that, you got to invest in who you are. You have to become the next best version of yourself. You have to become an ever evolving leader. The thing about leadership, the very first step to being an amazing leader worth following and someone who's influential, is you got to lead yourself. And so if you don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to, when you're out there proving yourself, already you're not being an effective leader. Like, forget it. So there's no wonder that women step back. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do. In the comments below, list some other myths or beliefs or questions. Like, Well, gosh, Kate, that's interesting. What about this? I've always thought that this was something I had to do, or I always thought this. So feed me some more questions, because this whole month, what we're going to be doing is myth busting. What are the myths that are holding women back and creating burnout? Cool. And if you are someone who's on the verge of burnout, do not step back. Do not give up your income. Do not give up your life. Do not give up what you care about. Call our team, book a call with our team. You can watch some more of our free trainings, get an idea of what we do and how we do it, and then book a call, talk with one of our coaches, figure out what your options are, because there is a lot of freedom and opportunity on the table if you step away, right? So please don't do that. All right. It's been great talking with you guys. I'll be back at you shortly with another